Anyone for a French dip sandwich? I'm Tess, and today I'm going to show you how to make a beef French dip sandwich using the slow cooker. Stay tuned. I'm starting by seasoning both sides of a chuck roast with a little salt and black pepper, placing it in a medium-high heat pan with a little oil. I want to brown each side for about 3 to 4 minutes until it gets a nice golden crust, which means a lot of flavor. After it's done, I'm removing from the pan. I'm turning my heat down to a medium, and in the same pan and oil, I'm adding 2 large sliced onions. I kept the onions a little thick because I want them to hold up in the cooking in the slow cooker. Cooking and stirring the onions for about 5 to 10 minutes, or until they soften and start to caramelize and turn color. Just a reminder that you'll be able to find this recipe, the list of ingredients, and much more in the Show More section below. I've also included links where you can purchase online some of the ingredients and equipment that I use in this video recipe. If you have a chance, please check it out. Now for the sauce. I didn't have any beef broth, so I'm cheating and using some homemade chicken broth and adding some better than bouillon beef base. If you wanted, you could also substitute half of the broth for beer to give it another depth of flavor. It's all good. I'm adding in some soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, onion flakes, sliced garlic, Italian seasonings, and black pepper. I'm not adding any salt as the soy sauce and bouillon base will have plenty. Giving that a good stir and setting to the side. Now let's put this all together. In my crock pot, I'm adding the onions on the bottom, then the roast and all its good juices. And this is optional, but I'm adding in some sliced mushrooms. And finally pouring the sauce all over the top. Giving everything a good zhuzh, placing on the lid and cooking on high for 4 to 5 hours, or on the low setting for about 7 to 8 hours. It's been 4 hours and the house smells amazing, and the beef is done. You can see the meat is falling apart. I'm taking out the roast and letting it slightly cool for about 15 to 20 minutes. The sauce, or Au Jus, looks and smells wonderful. Now I'm taking 2 forks and just shredding the beef. I'm going to try and keep the beef in chunks, not too small or shredded. I'm also removing any big chunks of fat. Next, I'm straining and ladling the onions and mushrooms from the sauce and placing them in with the shredded beef. Adding in a little of the sauce and giving that a good mix. I just can't resist. I have to give it a taste. So let's make these French dip sandwiches. I have some sub rolls that I'm splitting, buttering, and lightly toasting in my cast iron pan. Laying in some cheese on the seam of the bun so the juices don't escape. I'm using mozzarella cheese, but you can use any cheese that you like. I also like Swiss cheese in my French dip sandwiches. Putting in a couple good scoops of the shredded beef, and don't be chintzy. And finally placing more cheese on top. Baking at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 to 10 minutes, or until the cheese is melted and nice and bubbly. And here it is, a beef French dip sandwich served with a classic side of Au Jus and some fresh veggies. I guess I don't have to tell you that these sandwiches were beyond awesome. They have a good rich beef flavor, and the onions add a lot of flavor and a little sweet note. Let me cut the sandwich so you can see the inside. Look at that. I'm going right in, giving it a little dip in the Au Jus and taking a bite. I hope you give these beef French dip sandwiches a try and enjoy. If you like this slow cooker beef French dip sandwich recipe, please hit the like and subscribe button. Remember to hit the bell next to the subscribe to make sure that you get my future video recipes. You can also find me on Steemit, Facebook, and at my website. Feel free to share this recipe and my channel with your friends and family. And until next time, much love.